Greetings everyone, here's Lodrik and this is the game War in the Pacific Advanced Edition. This is my play by Evil Match against Xargun. He's the allied player and for me it is the Empire of Japan. This is scenario 1 on game version 26b. I skipped some days between the last updated turn and this one, I think 10 days roughly. There was not too much activity, a little not so successful battles in China for me, but this is the point where the game take on a little more heat. This is the first time that I have the Knicks on night cap trying to intercept here the B-17s, but they fail more or less. The Nick is normally still faster than the B-17. That is important, that your aircraft is always faster than the incoming bomber. They have the 20mm cannon and the 2 heavy machine guns, so they have normally the firepower to hurt, even kill B-17s. And they have armor protection, so that the pilot have a higher chance to survive. And they are well trained, so everything is normally ready, but I don't know, maybe this day was really not a good day for the Knicks to try to engage them. But on the other hand, it's also not a big issue. They're first army pilots. Second, I have a lot of spare Knicks now already. And this is also now the counter strike of the Allies. So it's now end of August, later than maybe, but maybe similar to what the Allies did in real life. But they are here for Wake. Attacking here, this is a Navy bombardment, not a pre-invasion bombardment, so a normal bombardment first. And only a destroyer, of course, is, I don't know, with destroyers you can maybe damage aircraft on the ground, but not much more. Because my army failed at Kinko, I sent now my air force in to fix the issue. So I make here airfield attacks and ground attacks to burn Chinese supplies and weaken the enemy forces, and maybe in 2 weeks I can strike again and take the base. I want more or less this base to open the ray or the pass and connection to Chengdu directly, that I don't must go the long road. There was also some battles, I think I skipped them. There was 2, I think, American allied tank brigades trying to sneak in, but I've detected them in time, so I use air power to slow them down. And then use some division, I was able to rail in time to wipe them out completely. Then now I'm more or less preparing the counterattack in Central Australia to defeat this forward allied base. Yeah. But I can explain this later. So, more bombardments. This is still a bombardment. Nothing really happens. Now is the amphibious assault. This is now the bombardment for pre-invasion. So this is now firepower against the ground forces. A little more successful, but I also score hits on the enemy destroyers.
Greetings, everybody. How's Tricks? This is Orphan Anne from Radio Tokyo, saying hello to all of her dog faces and boneheads wandering the Pacific Islands. Before we start the music, the Japanese High Command announced today that the foolish allies have attempted a landing at Wake, and soon thousands of your friends' bodies will be floating in the surf.
So, this is not more the message that I conquer even more, but because I think I got enough now it's the Allies counterattacking, and we will see how successful this is. So this is disabled stuff, nothing too important. But Wake is a atoll, and in this game they have a special rule that if you make a landing against the atoll, the units must make a shock attack. And this is me. I try to retake this base because the allies coming, Allied Spring, Tenet Creek, and they try to east and take here the main big mineral base. And I defeated the allies here. So, and this is now my attempt to crash them. I have a lot of disabled vehicles, but not really much destroyed. And for the allies, also a lot of disabled and even destroyed stuff. So I would still say it's not a clear victory for me, but the defender is not very well trained, is low on supplies, and I don't have really preparation. And there's no fort level, and this is open clear terrain, so I can also use Air Force and call them in to support me. I was only a little worried about Air Force simply because I was not sure if there's maybe enemy cap, and then yeah, that could end in a disaster. The rest here is only standard bombardments. No change here. Burning Chinese supplies. Keeps them in check. And now the allies must make, this is first my bombardment. I have here Navy Guard units, some coastal batteries and some support stuff. And the allies must make a shock attack. And because they don't have any sold value on this hex or in this hex, so everything what they was ready to strike was destroyed. So there's maybe now some stuff is disabled on the ground, but this unit is very weak. The reason why this failed, there was only the last, the third amphibious assault landing phase, so you have normally every turn have 3. I think it's night, and late afternoon, something like this. So, and there was also no real preparation. I mean, there was destroyers for bombardment. Normally you need at least light or heavy cruisers or better as battleships to soften up the defender. Or you must come with much more equipment. I don't know. I only can say that was easy to repel so far, but maybe this changed quickly. Air losses today high for me because I lost a lot of nicks, all air to air against this B-17, so 8 airframes lost, but out of air lost airframes, only 2 pilots are killed. This is the difference if you have armor or not. For me it is more like, it's not really save the airframe so often, but it can often save the pilot. It makes a difference if you have a killed pilot or a wounded pilot. So, and wounded will often come back. Ship lost, there was nothing. In China there is really no big change. It's only that my Kinko army was defeated, so I call some units back to Chengdu and let them rest here. That is all what happened in the last 10 turns. Nothing really in Burma, nothing around Ceylon. Akagi is still here in dock. Working well on high now, so I get here a little faster. So I need 4 days to fix 1 major damage. You can also see this here that I have now a dock capacity used of 76,400 tons, and I can supply a dock of 77,000. So the dock is 99% full. Good. Nothing here in Dutch East Indies. Nothing in Perth. But because I know there's now an enemy attempt to take Wake, I will shift now more forces to the Central Pacific. But this needs, of course, at least 1 week. I also have here my army. This is more or less a division. Defeated these 2 allied tank brigades, platoons, whatever. It was easy, with air power of course, and then I have an army HQ plus some guns to support this. So this is more or less my counter units from the east side. I have here also some spare units, light regiments, so tank regiments. They're not too powerful on their own, but they can take on some allies because they have here so medium type 1 tank already. They are maybe like a M3 Stuart. And the big stuff is coming. These are the 2 Japanese tank divisions. Because I was not sure where I deploy my tank divisions, Burma, with all the jungle, I think is not the best terrain. So cleared open terrain, I think is the best for a tank. So I throw all my heavy units here in Australia. At the same time, I build up here forward air bases to defeat Darwin in the future, and I also will build out this air base, so I was able to increase here much more air HQs here, and I must defend this big mines here. This is a lot of resource capacity. At the same time, I will maybe prepare a new army for Brisbane. That is all I can show so far. There's no really any change. There was a battle of Rockhampton today with my fighter bombers here, and they really failed, and you can see that I lost more or less 10 aircraft, or airframes today. And 2 killed pilots and maybe 4 wounded. This is today, so I lost temporarily 4 pilots, but 2 completely. And a lot of airframes are lost, but I have 54 backup, so I simply push one button and this is all fine, and I can put here more in if I want. So I can get this air wing ready in 2 days. I have also a lot of aircraft, so this is normally air wing with 12 pilots. I have already double pilots, but because this is the change to 30, I can get here 30 pilots easy in. And if I call my pilots, and I can see I have here a lot of aircraft ready, and these pilots are all more or less ready. Air 70, defense 70, mostly, not all, but mostly. So I simply call in some more pilots and say, give me more pilots. And they only ask how many you need. Then I say that I have 30. Far overkill. If I have only maximum 12 aircraft ready, these pilots will never get fatigue. Good. That's so far to this issue. And everything else will soon play out. So there is no real information here. I only know there's allied. Here's one unit with 2 guns. So everything else was defeated. I have here anti-aircraft. I have here some Navy Guard units to dig in, and you can see their preparation at 100. Then they get some bonus, I think. I have here also my guns. And so also airbase equipment with radar. What I need is now, because I know the allies are coming here, I will bring in some Navy search. And then I get a feeling what is nearby. And if I know what is nearby, I can start to react. But the carriers, they need 1 week to be in position. Air power I can shift in 1 or 2 days around. Of course, this is the atoll, so there is the problem that I get this already to maximum airbase, so I can really only run here torpedo bombers, but I would normally not put here too many aircraft on this air island directly, because this air island is now under siege or under attack. So I must strike from an airbase nearby. Unluckily, Wake is really a little far away from everything, so I must use the Marshall Islands to support me, because everything else is too far away. This is maybe also why Xargun choose to attack Wake first. Let's see how this will continue. Take care. Bye-bye.